Hey, Cubs, and happy Monday. I'm going to go through today's work. First, I'm going to go to the homework section of our class website. All right, I'm going to go through today's work really quickly. And if you have any questions, of course, you can put them in the dojo post related to this video. And ask me about today's work. So today, you're going to click on this link, and you are going to watch the video that's there about characters across a series. And then you're going to listen to another Frog and Toad story, The Garden. And if I click here, guess what? You'll listen to The Garden. And you're going to stop and jot notes on a piece of paper to show what in frogs say and do that show what they say and do that show character traits that are the same across the text. So basically, you're going to think back to the other stories you read about Frog and Toad, and you're going to decide the character traits that are about like Frog in both books. So, for example, in Judy B. Jones, I can say she's impulsive. In not just one book, she's impulsive. That means she acts without thinking. I can say she's impulsive in many books. So I'd write she is impulsive, or I'd write impulsive, because that's something that pops up in more than one book. Again, because it's her character trait that stays the same. And that's kind of what you're going to do today, but you're going to do it with Frog and Toad. So as you hear today's story about Frog and Toad, you can say, hey, these are you can even look at the character traits that you put in last time. You could say, hey, here are the character traits, if they are character traits. Here are the character traits that I put in last time. And here are those character traits that keep popping up. All right. And if you really have a hard time knowing the difference between an emotion, a feeling, and character traits, on Wednesday this week, we're going to have a 1 o'clock. I'll have a 1 o'clock time to do practice with math and also to answer questions about this, because it is kind of hard to tell. But again, character traits don't change. Feelings change. So happy, sad, mad, that's a feeling. All right, grumpy, cheerful, grumpy and cheerful, those are character traits. All right. Okay, so that is math. That's reading. Let's move on to math. Math, you're going to click on this link. You're going to go to the math lesson. You're going to watch that. And then you're going to do an activity where you find small objects in your house. You have to have up to 30. And you take a handful of them without counting. So I've got these little squares that I had to make for advanced math. So I'm just going to use those. I'm just going to take a handful without counting. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make pairs to determine if I grabbed an even number or an odd number. So remember, pairs are sets of two. That's what a pair is. You can't have a pair of three. Pair means a set of two. Okay. So let's see. Pairs. Well, Miss Kindleberry's hands, it's really hard to get these squares to where I'd like them to be. So I'm just making them into pairs of two to see. God, I chose a lot. Don't know if I meant to choose this many. Okay, here we go. Almost done. Now first, okay, so I made sets of two. See, I made pairs. And I'm going to count to see how many I had. Well, I'm going to skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So on my paper, I would write, one would be 18. I'm just going to write squares. That way you guys understand what I'm talking about. 18 squares, and that is even. There's no little extra dude. So it's not odd. All right? And you're going to do that 5 times. So that was one time. It doesn't say you have to draw it, so you do not have to draw it. You can, if you want to draw it, you can, just to show me your work. But again, you don't have to because it doesn't say that. And then it says, if you click right here, it says OA Family. It says activity on the second page. So if you click on this and you go to the second page of your document, that's basically what you're doing. This odds and evens thing down here. Okay. So that is math, and then there's an optional activity if you want to. That's math, second grade math. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at Advanced Accelerated for this week. Advanced and Accelerated are really just continuing the work they started last week. So you're getting out that character trait chart. And if you are, by the way, if you're on level reading and you really need a list of traits, well, right here, if I click here, it's going to take me to a list of traits. Right here, these are positive ones. Look how many words there are. Negative, neutral ones. That means it's not positive or negative. Negative traits, and then there's emotions. So you can see if you don't know if it's a trait or it's an emotion, you can go, hey, is it down here on this list? Is it up here on this list? Where is it? And remember, good is not a good enough character trait. It's not really saying much about the person. So you're going to watch advanced reading, or I should say cool, daring, and excellent. You are going to watch the trait versus emotion video, which is Miss Candleberry. It's like a kind of like a video quiz. All right, and then you're going to follow the link to Copper, and you're going to read pages 46 to 63, and continue your trait chart. And remember, if you already have a trait written down, then you're just writing the new page number you find that trait on. They're going to upload your work to class portfolio. Advanced math. Before the lessons, you have to create or print the tangrams. If you have your own tangrams, obviously you don't need to do that. So tangrams are this thing in the middle. Okay? So if you cannot print it, you got to try to make it. And that's going to be a little more challenging. My suggestion, if you're going to have to make it, is to, number one, not press hard. To zoom in on this until you get it to where it's big. Then put your paper up on your actual screen, your actual computer screen, and lightly trace it so that you know, because the size is really important to tangrams. So that's something you can do. You can take your whole paper, and you could kind of, let's see if I can get it up there to look at it. So you could take a whole paper. It's kind of, this is the screen right here, right there. So what you can do, it's at a weird angle, but yeah, I just can't get it in there a little bit any better. It's going to be weird because it's like focusing on itself. So, but here's the paper that's right here. This is my screen. You can then take your paper like this and put it over it. God, I wish you could see it. Maybe I can. No, it's really there. You can take your paper and put it over it like this. That's the cursor, and you can kind of still see through it. And then you can very lightly. I would very lightly. You can take your pen and kind of go over it. You got to be very careful so you don't. This is very rough. So after this, I would want to go back and make my lines a little bit more straight, because with tangrams that really matters. The size really matters. But there's a real wonky version of it that I can then. All right, let's see. That I can then. Hold on. Very wonky version. But there's a very wonky version that I traced that I can then take a ruler to and make a straighter line, or even just like look at it and make it a straighter line. So then I could take my ruler, which I don't have here because I wasn't planning on giving you guys this advice, and I can make my lines much more linear, much straighter. Because like I said, it really matters. Actually, I think this should be like this. It really matters. The size of tangrams super matter. So I just now gave myself. Actually, Miss Kilmer is pretty good at eyeballing if it's straight or not. But there you go. So I fixed it, and then what I would do is you cut out on these lines. You cut it out, and you'll have. I do believe it's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces for your tangrams. So that needs to happen today before our lesson. And then you're going to join our advanced math lesson at 1 p.m. You're going to watch the video if you miss it, but try not to miss it because it takes forever for the video to process. And then you're going to complete an activity given at the end of the lesson. So the lesson will give you an activity. And it would just be too long for me to put here. So watch the lesson, get the activity if you didn't show up to the class, and then you're going to upload your work to class portfolio, dojo class portfolio, dojo class dojo portfolio. Blah. All right. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. Bye, guys.